Hey guys, welcome back. It's Nina,
And Rachel.
and we're here with Being a Mom Sucks podcast, and we have a special guest today, Ashley Reister. She's a single mom, and she's doing all the things, and she's gonna share a little bit of her world with us. Welcome,
Right.
Ashley.
Thank you. I'm excited.
We're excited.
Yay! So tell
So,
us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. He just turned 10 days ago. And it has been like the terrible twos hit before, but I feel like since his birthday, it's been worse. It's like more tornado and psychoticness everywhere, and it's just toys everywhere all the time. And
I'm right
it's,
here. I'm right there.
yeah. It's stressful. I'm like, my boyfriend's always like, go rest, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I rest when I go to sleep, and that's it. I don't know what
Right.
rest is anymore.
Even
What
then,
is
you're like halfway, one eye's open. You're like, what's going on still, right?
Exactly. Like I feel like I'm a light sleeper. I was already a light sleeper, but I'm even more of a light sleeper now because I'm just like, oh my God, he's crying. He sleeps in the room next to me, so I'm like, he's crying. What happened? Oh, he's just dreaming. Okay, I can go back to sleep.
I do that too sometimes. Like, I think I hear him crying, but it's just like his noise machine in the background or something.
Yes.
Constantly waking up. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
I sleep. I just
Yep.
want to. It's
Yep.
impossible.
Yep, Rachel's little one, he just turned 3. Right?
Mhm.
3? He just turned
Too.
2. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so y'all are dealing with the same little tornadoes in your house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Show y'all right now, but it's crazy.
That's
Oh,
what
what do
I
you
was
mean?
like. Normally he naps, and my boyfriend the other day was trying to clean up his toys when he napped, and I'm like, just leave it. There's no point. You're gonna clean that up in literally 30 minutes. It's gonna come out and be the same thing. Don't waste your energy.
Exactly.
We
That's
just talked about this.
Yeah.
always talking about that. Like, is it worth it to even put out the energy? Because I feel like it's not.
No.
You can use
Because
that
I would
and put it for
rather,
something else.
yeah. I was like, I'd rather just like sit down and not move, or like give the dogs a little love, or do dishes, because I can't even do dishes without being pulled away. Can't do
Yeah,
anything.
trying to climb in the dishwasher too.
Yes.
Lord,
Yes.
he
Tries
like,
to grab knives out.
yeah. My son likes the spinning thing in the dishwasher, so he's always
Yes.
pushing me out of the way so he can play with it. I'm like, Jeremy, I just need to do the dishes. I just
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. I'm like, 5 minutes. I know you don't know what that means, but like, just go away, please, for 5 minutes. That's all I need.
It's not that much. It's just a
No,
little tiny bit.
it's really not. And we're trying to, I'm like, because, he's a single kid and he has dogs. So his dogs are his siblings. And he's like, let me go play with the dogs. But now we're like, you can't play hard with the dogs. One of them has arthritis now, so we gotta calm down. And now he's just, it's like, okay, go be a dog. Like,
Right now is got his energy to be able to play with them, and now he can't even play.
yes, right, yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh Lord, kids.
So
Yeah.
does he go to school or pre-K or every? Not, I mean, I know he's too little to
Yeah.
be like in school, but like, does he does go to school?
Yeah. So over this summer, I started him in like a church camp, Mother's Day out church camp.
Oh
And
yeah.
then he started actually like preschool this August. And actually, he started preschool, and the first week he got sick. He kind of got better, and then we took him to the ER because he got bad again. We found out he had norovirus. So
Oh
he was
no.
like, yeah, he was like throwing up on me, and he had diarrhea for like 10 days. It was
Oh my
absolutely
gosh, poor
horrible.
baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, he was born 2 months preemie. So I've always been paranoid if anything happens. Like, he's born too early. I'm too worried. Let me go in. And then that's when we found out he had norovirus. They cleared him to go back to school. He went back to school the second week and then got another just general virus on top of it because everyone at school was sick too with other things. And then we finally got past those 2 weeks, and now he's been okay.
It's been okay.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
so
always
for the
happens.
people that don't know what norovirus is, can you give us a little more detail about what that entails
Yes.
for him?
So I didn't know what it was until I got the test results, and even the doctors didn't really tell me because they have to. The only way they can test it is by fecal sample. So they had to take a really gross diarrhea diaper and go test it, and 3 days later I got it back. Yeah, and I saw it, so I did research, and basically I would say, I mean, I don't want anyone to be sick. I would rather have him have COVID. He's had COVID twice, and that was nothing compared to this. The first day he was throwing up all morning, started at 5:30. I was covered in vomit. He was covered in vomit. There's a point I was just laying there. I'm like, we're just gonna get it out, and when you're done throwing up, we'll go take a shower. And
Mhm.
so for about, I would say 6 hours or so, he was just throwing up. He couldn't keep water down. And I was
Oh
sitting there. I think that was, other than like when he was born, that was the first time I really sat there and I was like crying. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. You can't even drink water. I was like, I called my brother or my boyfriend and I was like, I've never experienced that where he's just in so much discomfort and he just wants to drink water. The doctors were saying you can't even give him water because he'll throw up. And I'm like, well, how is he going to stay hydrated?
yeah.
Right.
And
Ew.
then, so the vomiting thankfully didn't last very long. But the next thing was we had to try and get him to eat, and he wouldn't eat slow for me. So every time he would eat, he would throw it up. And then my boyfriend he's very good with him coming in, kind of being a paternal figure to him, kind of got him to slow down. And so finally he got him to eat some bananas and bread and he was okay. But then the next step was the diarrhea. And that was
Mhm.
just diarrhea for days. And then I
Oh
finally
my
took him to the ER because he hadn't peed in over 12 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was like, something's not right here. You should at least have one pee diaper. So it
Right.
was
Yeah.
just a constant norovirus. It's just mostly vomit and diarrhea and just
Oh my
discomfort.
God.
And
That's rough.
it's minimum 10 days, which is about what he
Oh
had
my
it.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah,
That
So
is
that's
awful.
almost 2 weeks of just,
yeah,
oh, that poor baby.
I
Poor
yeah.
mom.
know it.
Poor
I
baby.
know it. Poor all of y'all.
Well, and then I want to say I only took like a day off of work or maybe like a day and a half. And then I had to call his dad and I was like, you have to take him. Like, I want to be here, but I can't. And I just need you to take him to the weekend while I'm at work because he can't go to
Yeah.
school. So it was kind of we had to sacrifice both of our times. So it was hard trying, because then my family didn't want to take him. You know, my parents help with my grandparents. My sister lives with her grandmother-in-law. So there's a lot of elderly people around we couldn't expose him to. So I think that was the
Right.
first time too. I didn't have a lot of family help, more for concern of others. So we're just
Right.
Right.
sitting here like, I don't know what to do.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's rough. So was
Yeah.
his dad able to come get him?
Yeah, so he helped for, like, he usually gets him every Thursday. So he took him that day and I had to sit and be like, look, I need you to take him Friday. I can't take off work again.
Yeah.
I don't want to put my job at risk as much as I need the money to support my child, and you've got to choose which one's, I don't want to say more important, but the kind of priority. If I can get the help, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then my boyfriend is able to help too. He works part-time and he's going to school, so I had to call him up one morning. He stays up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, look, you gotta go to bed early and you gotta take him if you can. And so he was able to take him and help him through it. So
Oh, that's so
that's
That's
helpful.
awesome. It
Yeah.
sounds like you have a good support system and like your
Oh yeah.
co-parenting is going pretty well.
I would
And
say the co-parenting is kind of there.
kind.
I don't wanna
you don't want to give it too
it's
much.
more of like, hey, I know you got things you want to do, but like I gotta make sure my job is secure too. So I need you to kind of like step in and help out.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. God, man, I'm glad y'all made it through okay.
oh
That's
yeah,
rough.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I that might have sent me into a breakdown.
Oh,
I know.
I definitely did.
Yeah, because you just feel so bad because they're so little and they
You
can't.
should be here.
like, they can, I guess, kind of tell, not really tell wrong. Obviously, if he's throwing up everywhere, you know what's wrong. But yeah, just they're so miserable, so little, and you just want to make them feel better. There's nothing you
Right?
can do.
It
Yeah.
sounded like there was nothing that you could do to comfort him, like not even to be able to have water or anything like that. Like that sucks.
I think that was the worst part. And I told my boyfriend, other than like when he was born, I think I was like, I think that's the first like real like mom moment where I was like, I'm just like sitting there
Mhm.
holding him and I'm like crying and I'm like, I don't know what to do for you. Now I understand like when people say like, I wish I could take that pain away from you. I'm like, I think that's the first like true moment I experienced that where it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I would
And
think.
he doesn't know what's happening too. He doesn't
Right.
understand why he can't have water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's rough, man.
yeah.
Glad
It
you made it
was.
through, but you're doing much better now.
Oh yeah, he's a lot better. Now we're in this stage of like we got out of that. He was able to go back to school and now we're dealing with like biting and
Oh
hitting
no!
and
Oh no!
I'm like can't catch a break. We gotta just get through it.
Right.
So how are you dealing with that?
So they started tracking like why he was doing it or what caused it. And he's a
Uh-huh.
very food motivated child. He loves to eat. If you saw him now, you could not tell that he was born premature at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he basically, I had to like one night go out to HEB and I spent like $50 on a bunch of like snack packs. So we got like goldfish, vanilla wafers, graham crackers, everything. And so for his snack and his lunch, I have to put an individual snack pack in each of those because if not, he will go up to the kids who has the snack pack and and that's why he was biting. He was trying to get because he likes to take things out of bags.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
He just wants a snack.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! How funny! I mean, I guess it's not funny for the kid, but
Yeah.
it's funny. He's like, "Snack."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and then now, and like sharing, he's a lot of mine, mine, mine. So we have to sit there and be like, hey, you have to share. We started trying to do timeout because he gets very, I was, when I was a kid, I had a lot of anger problems and I see that in him now. So we don't know if the timeout is helping him like learn, but it definitely helps like calm down, take a
Mhm.
breather, and we'll go back to it. It's okay. Like we can share our toys.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So do y'all do it like as a punishment or more of like a okay, we're gonna take this minute to calm ourselves?
So it's a it it we're kind of testing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much a he's my little rainbow baby. I spoil him and everything. So I try very hard to be stern. And then like my boyfriend, since we've been dating, has taken on like almost like a fatherly role that he wasn't expecting. But
Mm-hmm.
he's very good at coming in and being like, okay, he's got like the natural dad instincts in him. So he's like, look, you're doing great, but you just gotta be a little tougher. You
Oh,
gotta, you gotta, you gotta tell him no, and you gotta stick with it. Cause I'll be like, no, no, and they'll be like, oh, you're crying, it's okay, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, you gotta be no, and you gotta stick with the no. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying, I'm trying. So,
right. I know. I'm the same thing. It's so hard once they start crying. I tell him no. He just has a down. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, okay, fine.
yeah.
Yeah, my husband said like, no, you got it. He's not gonna learn if you don't. I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah, well, and then with the timeouts, he knows. He knows, don't hit the dogs or don't do this. So we'll say, okay, don't do that. We're gonna take it away if you keep doing that. He does it a second time. I said, this is your second warning. And then he'll do this thing where he'll like turn and he'll look at you from the side and then he'll smile. So
mm,
he knows what he's doing and then he does it. So then
He's
we're like,
testing his
okay,
limits.
yes.
He's testing his limits. Yeah, he's gonna
So
see if
he's
you're gonna
like,
follow through with that.
yeah, so now we've had to do more follow through. Okay, third time. We live with my aunt, and when I was upstairs, she was like, he had to sit in timeout. He was hitting the dogs. I told him no, and he didn't listen, so he did it. And I was like, good. Good.
Yeah.
We all gotta stick with it.
Yeah, and if everyone's on the same page, then
Yep.
he'll get it.
Yeah, kids are crazy, man. They will try to get away with anything they can.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Gabe's like that. That's how Gabe is. He does that little side smirk thing.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It drives me crazy. I'll be
And
like,
then
where
it's
did
hard
you
not to
learn this
laugh at
from?
it too because you're like,
Yes.
how do you're just a little person. How are you
Right?
so slick?
Come
Oh
from.
yeah. Well, and I noticed too, he's very he responds better to men, which is frustrating sometimes, right? When I have him
Yeah.
alone and I'm just like, listen to me. I'm the one who's here all the time. I have you like 95% of the time.
Right.
So then, if we're at my parents' house and he doesn't listen to me or my mom, my dad will have to say, all right, I'm going to go get your grandpa. So then my dad will come in and he'll sit there and he'll discipline him and he'll react. But it's hard not to. Like, I'll sit here and I'll be like covering my mouth laughing and I have to leave the room and I'm like, I'm sorry, like, you're doing great, like, helping you. But, like, I could not laugh at that reaction he gave you. That was so funny.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
I have to do that a
He
lot
sounds
too.
like a little character.
Oh, yes. He has a big personality.
Oh, that's so fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun. Our limit. It's fun to see like the way they think about things and like
Yes.
knowing to do that. Like, what if I do this? But what if I do
Um,
Mhm.
like? It's so interesting just watching them grow and learn that way.
one, it's hard to have them like understand, like you talk to them. So I think one of the big things was when we went to a concert recently and we have his ear protection. He didn't want to wear them. So I was like standing in the back and I'm like, I'm sorry, I promise I'm trying to keep my baby's ears safe, but he won't listen to me, so I can't have his headphones on. And I'm like, you have to wear them. They're protecting your ears. And he's just like, no, I don't want them. I was like, oh God, now we can't, this is why we can't go do nice things.
This is why I can't have fun.
Yeah,
Don't listen to me.
exactly.
How many
Aw.
shows have you taken him to?
So I've taken him to, uh, I think two, but my sister, she's a concert photographer, and she's taken him to more. When he was smaller, she used to take him, she would babysit him, and she would end up having him right around the time I'd get off work. So she'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna take him to this show with me, go, have some me time, and then I'll just bring him to you after. And I'm like, okay. And then she'd take him right up there to the camera pit or hand him off to people,
Oh
Yeah.
just be like,
no!
yeah, just be
How
like,
fun!
hey, can you hold him for a second?
Oh
How
yeah. We need some pictures of that so we can share
right?
those pictures.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I know
I'll
I've
get with
seen
her.
her.
She has
I've
them
seen her studing and she's had him in a little bag, a baby
strapped to him.
backpack.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
How
How cool.
fun he's gonna grow up in that life and get to like see all that. That's
Oh
super.
yeah. He probably
Yeah.
goes to more concerts than I do.
He, he goes to more than I do, that's for sure.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be like growing up in the scene. Everybody's gonna know who he is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they do. We walk in and more people know him and say hi. I walked through like the security thing and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're good." And I was like, "Okay."
Because of him. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, "Sure."
That is awesome. Get doing. That's awesome.
Right? He's on the list. He's on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, they know him.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
so what does your day to day look like? Because I know you have a full time job also.
Yes. Yeah, so I work like a standard 8:30 to 5:30 job. So I typically we were having problems with I wrote it down. What was it called? Like regression. It's like basically he's at school all day and with other people all day and he's really comfortable and he's or like not kind of, but he's well behaved. He behaves good. He's on his best behavior. And then when he gets home, what I was looking at was from what my mom friend told me, and I did research. So basically, the kids they feel comfortable with mom. That's their safe space. So they basically let out like their anxieties and stresses held in throughout the entire day when they get home and we
Mm-hmm.
were having a hard time with that. So we had to start setting up routines of, When we get home, we sit down 20 minutes, just have mommy Henry time, and we relax. And so in the morning, and the routine kind of gets thrown off. So in the morning, we have to get up, get food, and he sits in bed and he watches the show while I get ready, and then I get him ready. And we brush our teeth, we see the dogs, we feed the dogs, we go out the door. And then I take him to my mama. My mom takes him to school and usually picks him up, and family will hold on to him till I get off. And then we come home, we do our 20 minutes together, and that's his time to just like let it out.
Mhm.
Scream, cry, play, laugh, hug me, run away from me, whatever. And we just have our safe space, go do our thing, and then when he's ready, he'll go to the door and he'll say outside, so we'll go down, or he'll say puppies and go see the puppies. And I've noticed too, like if we stray from the routine, like mornings when we want to sleep in a little bit and we wake up late and we're rushing out the door, he has a bad day at school. If he comes home and he sees the dogs first and goes crazy, he's gonna start being more like aggressive with the dogs because he's starting to feel like the release then. So we have to
Mhm.
try and stay on our routine to help him kind of do better. And I think
Mhm.
that's what we've talked about with the school too, is sitting down, having his routine will kind of help him throughout the day at school too.
That's so nice. I love that they have that together, all his stuff. He can get it all out and having
Sorry,
Yeah,
that it
and
cut
there's
out
nothing like
just a
having
second.
mom, you know what I mean? Mom
Yeah.
to let it all out with too.
Yeah. Well, and then I definitely have really bad mom guilt where like I'm working all day, so I can't drop him off in the morning. I can't pick him up after school. He does dance on Tuesdays. I can't take him to dance and drop him off because of I get off at 5:30, dance starts at 5:45. I don't get there till 5:50, so I have to rely on my sister to take him, and she drops him off, and then I show up and he doesn't see me till he gets out of class. But it's hard because it's like I want to be there to do everything, but I can't. So having that 20 minutes is really like important and special to me too now because I
Mhm.
think that started to help us like bond and connect more too.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love
Oh, that's
that.
sweet.
Yeah.
It is sweet.
It is.
He's
My
gonna grow
son
up and probably like always want that time with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like imagine him being a young adult, you know what I mean? And then coming home and still sharing with you and and then even being an adult and like coming home, to see you after work, like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I think that's really cool that y'all are building that
Mhm.
routine, now while
Yeah.
he's little.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really. My son just started wanting to be rocked to sleep again, and
Uh-huh.
at first I was like, man, I wonder why he's like doing this, because like before he was really good. Put him to bed, tell him good night, and he would go straight to sleep. But lately he's been like, no, I want to be rocked or whatever. So at first I was like, I wonder why that is. But now I really like it. Like I really look forward to it because our little cuddle time and we, be together. It's
Yeah, well, and that's like at nighttime too. Like we have a thing where we put on a show. He sits there and he drinks his milk, and we lay in my bed together. And then after like 10, 15 minutes, I'll turn it off and we'll sit there and we'll sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and he'll sing it with me. And then
oh,
we'll say, okay, good night, give me a hug and a kiss, and I'll put him down. And then usually he'll go right to sleep, or, I'll step out and I'll hear him singing Twinkle, Twinkle with his little stuffies he has in his bed. Yeah. So then like yeah, so nice we have like my boyfriend over. We started like integrating him into that. So now he looks forward to having both of us there, and there's times too when I think him having that like relationship with him too, I'll say, "Hey, I'm going to step away. I'm going to go do dishes or laundry. Why don't y'all two take like your 20 minutes too?" Because I want him to have that other like supportive parent type relationship there too.
has he taken to your boyfriend pretty well? Like
Yes.
has there any issues with that?
No, so my boyfriend's been around since he was born. So they were, we were friends, and he would come over and we'd hang out and see him, and we would always say, "Oh, that's mom and dad's friend at first." And then we had our separation and divorce, and I started dating him. So at first I would say, "This is mommy's friend," and
Mhm.
then it came to we started calling him by his little nickname, and every now and then he started calling him daddy. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, I was like, that's a little soon. And then I talked to him and I was like, hey, are you like comfortable with that? We can try and get him to, I want you to be comfortable in this too, because you're basically coming into this not expecting to have a child, but like you're having to take on a child. And
Mhm.
you're
Right.
not, he's 6 years younger than me. So I'm like, you're not, I'm 30, he's 24. So I'm like, you're still in college, you're getting through it. So you're not expecting to be a dad right now, but
Yeah.
we've had a lot of, I would say, big conversations for an early relationship because of this, which I think has helped us a lot too.
Yeah. And not unfortunately, but when you have a kid, that's gonna happen
Yeah,
because ultimately it's what's best for the kid, and when you start dating someone with a kid, that's something that kind of comes with the territory is you're
yeah.
gonna have conversations. So
And they
you're
do
not
good. Yeah. Well, and I trust him a lot too. Like Saturdays, I'll work for 4 hours on a Saturday, so he'll take him Saturday mornings while I'm at work, and he always
Mhm.
tells me, he's like, I love our time. This is starting to become like a good routine that we can hang out because now it's their time to like bond and spend together, and he
That's
enjoys it. Yeah.
that's very sweet. I'm glad that he's being so positive with it, like
Oh yeah.
creating that.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, and I told him I would probably put him on the spot. He says to me sometimes, after having him for like 30 minutes, if he's crazy, or like 4 hours, he'll be like, man, I'm exhausted. I just need a break. That he's like, this is so tiring doing this for a couple hours. And I was like, excuse me, you had him for 2 hours? I was like, I deal with this every single day. What
Yeah,
are
All
you
day
talking
long.
about?
how do I feel?
Yeah, I was like, I would love a break. He's like, go take a break. I was like, that doesn't exist in my world right now.
Yeah, like
Oh,
let's switch shifts. I'll take that 2 hour shift any day, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. My goodness. But then I always feel, even when I do get time off, I still like, for example, once a week, my husband's mom will keep him overnight because of how she works. She likes to have him overnight 1 night a week. Um, and so even then, I'm like, when she has him, I'm just like, oh, I feel bad. Like, I know I should be enjoying this time, but I feel like he should be here with me, or, I should be watching him and I'm not. And it's like, it's okay. Like, she wants
yeah,
to build her relationship. So
We're
just,
the same way when the boys spend the night at their grandma's. We're looking at each other like it's quiet in here.
yeah.
It's you do start
I'll
to miss them. But I think it's important
yeah.
to have that time for yourself.
Well,
it
and
is.
then like every other weekend, he's with his dad, like Thursday night through Monday night. So like I get those weekends, and I'm like, those are my weekends to sit back and like take a second and like it sucks because I don't have them, but sometimes I feel like I'm like, okay, it's kind of nice. I do get to like rely on those to kind of reset. But then it's like he's gone the first night and he has a little noisemaker, and I can't sleep without his noisemaker, even if he's not there. I have
Oh,
to sleep with other. It's just like ingrained in my brain now. It's like a security blanket for me, I think, more than him. And
mm-hmm.
then it's usually like that by Friday night, I'm like, okay, I like I don't know how exist I can go out and do things, but sometimes I feel guilty like going out, like existing, having that whole weekend to like do whatever. And I'm just like, man, now I'm just sitting here thinking like, what am I gonna do with him when I get back? What are we gonna do to
Mm-hmm.
catch up with time and stuff? So
That's
So
fun.
what do you do for you when I know you say it's hard to do anything or to relax, but like when you do have that time for yourself, what's your self-care and your me time consist of?
me and my boyfriend are both big gamers. So we'll either sit and we'll play video games together. And a lot of it too is like we don't get a lot of personal time. So we'll go out and we'll walk around. We'll go get dinner or something. We like to eat sushi, but that sushi's not always a kid easy thing to do. So we'll like designate those weekends to go get sushi or ramen or something. We'll play video games or board games. We like to play a lot of board games. Or sometimes he'll say, I want to play this game, like bring your cross stitching over, bring a book over, and like just sitting together and like letting me do my things while he does his.
I
It's
love
kind of, yeah. I like it. And it's always hard because I have like, needles and sharp scissors and everything, and I'm like, you can't do that easily with a
yeah.
2-year-old.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do my cross stitching since I mean, well, when he was a baby, I could do it because obviously, you just put him
Yeah.
down. But yeah, now I can't because he gets into everything. Like I even
Yes.
was just making some little trinkets for Rinfest, and I swear I was being so careful, not letting him get into the beads. And
Mm-hmm.
I would get the bead out and then close it right away. And then I call Nina and I'm freaking out. He has a bead shoved like all the way up his nose, and I'm like, "How did you get this? I can't do anything. I
That
literally
is
can't."
like my biggest fear is waiting for that day when he has something shoved up his nose. I'm like waiting for
It
it. We
will
haven't
happen.
gotten there. Oh my
I've
gosh.
gone through it with all my kids, with all the boys. It's a boy thing. It's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
boy thing. Boys
yeah,
like to stick things up their
Yeah.
nose.
yeah.
Yes.
My husband was saying that he used to stick things in his ears, so they
Oh
would
Yeah,
my
have.
God.
I
Yeah,
think that would freak me out worse than the nose.
Well, mine likes to taste everything. We were carving pumpkins last night, and he shoved his hand in the pumpkin, looked at his hand, and then started tasting it. And I was like, and then it looked like he liked it, so he kept doing it. So I was like, I think this is okay. I mean, it's just pumpkin,
It's
right?
just
Like,
something,
thank
yeah.
you. So I was like, you know what? If you like it, sure. And then
yeah.
he loves spicy food. So my friends were sitting here feeding him hot Cheetos. And I'm like, sure. I was like, I don't know that I want to deal with that poop later, but I
I
guess
think you
go.
froze.
Oh, she did.
Hello.
She froze. There you are. We've got
Uh-oh.
you back.
Okay. But yeah, no, they were feeding him hot Cheetos, and I was like, if
Me.
if that's if that's what you want to eat, you go for it.
These
Right?
kids and their hot stuff.
As long as they are eating, because we went through a time with Jeremy where he would not eat anything, nothing that we would give him, and so we were like, and like I was starting to get worried, but now he eats all
Yes.
Yeah, Gabe's a very picky eater.
He's Thankfully, he's not picky. I've been trying to my when he was little, my mom pureed his vegetables and fruits for him, and she was very into like fresh making everything. And even now, she goes over and she cooks him all kinds of crazy things. And my dad's gluten free, and they like to eat it as natural as possible. So they're very good about feeding him the vegetables and fruits. He is a little monkey with bananas. I was worried about him getting
the.
potassium poisoning because he's eating so many bananas. And then he wasn't
Is
pooping
that
because
a
he got so constipated. So I
from
was
the
like,
bananas?
yes,
Oh,
he ate too many. So I was like, now we have to limit his bananas. We have to hide them from him sometimes. My mom's like, I gotta watch.
Oh,
I take him a banana in the morning, and then my mom's like, he eats all of my bananas too. And I was like, I don't know what it is.
oh
bananas
my
are good.
God.
I have to, usually when I get bananas, I have to hide them too because everybody here will just eat them all.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
I
then
mean,
finding
bananas are.
like,
One banana will do. Like sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
can't even eat a whole banana. Like half a banana is good.
oh my gosh, no, he'll
So I don't
eat.
know
He
where
went
they.
up when he went up to. I've been teaching him sign language. I know sign language pretty good, and so I've been teaching it to him, and he knows please. So he went up to my dad. He didn't say anything. He just said please in sign language, and then he just took the food off his plate. And my dad was like, "What just happened?" And my mom's texting me. She's like, "Henry did this weird little thing, and then he took the food." And I was like, "Oh yeah, he was saying please." And she's like, "Oh okay." So
He didn't
Oh,
even wait.
what?
So he was just like, okay, I said please, it's mine.
yes, yes. Which I think is my fault. I've
Oh,
taught him
cute.
like you say please, you get here you go. So I think I've been too easy with that.
Oh my goodness, how funny. Oh, these kids.
I know it. So what's he gonna be
Yeah.
for Halloween?
He's a shark. He loves sharks.
Aw,
Yeah, all
how
we do is watch
cute.
shark
Oh,
documentaries now. He'll sit there and he'll point at the TV and shout shark the whole time, and I'll sit there and I'll be like, "Yes, it's a shark." I I hate sharks.
yes.
I hate the ocean. I hate everything about it. I said it too when I was like, this kid's gonna like everything I have fears of. I don't like birds. I have a huge fear of birds. My best friend owns a bird, and when she brings that bird out, I'm terrified. I don't like it. And he's obsessed with birds. He's obsessed with sharks. I was like, oh my god, this kid's gonna. I was like, look, if he gets older and he wants to go swim with a shark somewhere, I'll support him. I'll do it because I love him. But I'm gonna shit myself. I'm gonna hate every second of it.
I will die.
I will
No.
watch from the sidelines. I'm out there with you. Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Binoculars.
Right.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's funny.
Oh
That is
Lord.
so cute.
He's just set up to torture you.
Oh yes.
I,
Yes. And I think
what
that's
they
a
do.
boy
That's
thing
what they
too.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, Ash, do you have a being a mom sucks moment that you want to share with us?
I think I am like I'm ADHD and anger problems all the way. I was diagnosed like low level stages of bipolar in my early 20s, but I decided to go unmedicated, so I like try a lot to handle my emotions, and I think there's a lot of times where I know I can snap easily and I get triggered and overstimulated, and I've realized that having a kid can escalate that a lot quicker. And so there's a lot of times when things will happen and I'm like, I said 5 minutes or 2 seconds, whatever. And then I'll snap and then I'll get frustrated. And then he has, from day one, has always like fed off of my emotions. So when I'm anxious, I can tell he feeds off of it. So when I snap,
Mhm.
he kind of snaps and we go back and forth. And then I'll have to sit there and I'll have to just like relax. And I think it's helped me a lot learn how to sit down and breathe and like meditate more and get him to sit with me because he pushes my buttons a lot and that
Yeah.
fuse
Hmm.
goes off a lot, and it's very hard because I don't, not that, it's not, I want him to show and express his emotions, but also like letting that fuse go is not always the best thing, and it's not always the easiest thing to control. And I think my
Oh,
anger
for,
gets to me a lot, and it's very hard to control that. And then
Yeah.
yeah.
also like a 2-year-old, he can't talk very well, so it tried to like I have to remember sometimes, like, okay, he's just 2. I need to, like, step back. I need to wait and wait for the moment. I went to school to help with, like, child development for 5 and older. So I'm like, I need to wait till he's 5 and I got it from here. But right now I just need
Right.
to, to
Gotta
get
make
through
it
it. Yeah.
weird.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's tough. It's
Yeah.
sometimes when you are in those overstimulated moments, like reining yourself in from just being like exploding is really hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always go back to I think my boyfriend's very good at helping me. I can text him, shoot him a quick text, this is frustrating me, or I can call him real quick, step away. I am fortunate to live with my aunt, so I could say, "Hey, I need to like step away. Can you take him for a second?" And then I'll call him and I try to vent it out and get the anger out over the phone with someone else so that he can't feel that. But those
That's good.
moments of snapping are very I've learned a lot from that, especially
Oh,
recently.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
because you don't have to start reacting back to you like that either.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. You're teaching him without realizing, how to walk away from situations to
Yeah.
cool down and have that decompressing time. And, you know, um, I think that's awesome. And I'm really happy that you have a, network of support, people that you can lean on to help with him. Because it really does. It takes a
Oh,
village, and because
It,
it does get really hard, and you need you just need a minute. You just need a
yes.
minute, and it could be to scream, it could be to make that phone call to get someone to talk you off the edge, and you know, um, it, it's it. Those definitely are those moments where you're like, being a mom sucks for sure.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think my biggest guilt is like I work 8, 9 hours a day. I'm gone most of the time. I only get maybe 30 minutes in the morning with him. And then I was sitting thinking about it the other day. We get home by 6 o'clock. I feed him dinner by 6:37, 7:30, 8 o'clock. We're getting ready to bed and he's in bed at 8. So I had to like sit back and be like, I only get really 2.5 hours a day with him and then a little bit on the weekend. So it's kind of a thing of like I especially in those moments when I get angry, I need to sit back and like appreciate the fact that he like wants me. And I was sitting there telling my mom the other day when his dad drops him off with me, he's happy, he waves, he says I love you, bye bye, and blows some kisses. And for a while I was getting upset because he would do that and then he started crying and screaming and I was like, "Oh my gosh, just let me leave." But then I had to sit back and be like, that makes me feel special now because even though I don't
Right.
get that time, like he does want me. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
now I understand why moms cry when their kids cry when they leave because
Yeah.
it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard because you know that they're going to be okay, but at the same time, you've worked so hard to build this trust with them, and
Yeah.
like sometimes for a moment you think, "Oh my God, are they not going to trust? Am I going to lose their trust because I have to go in this moment?"
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's when that mom guilt comes in too. It's so tough because you're doing all the things that you're supposed to do, and people call it a sacrifice being away from your children, but we have no other choice. You know what I
Right.
mean? In the world that we
Yeah.
live in right now, we have to go to work. So it's not really a it is a sacrifice, but it's like we don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like we
Exactly.
Yeah.
have to do these things. And I think it's so great that you figured out a way to get it done, and you're not letting anything get in the way of that. And as tough as that mom guilt is, you're doing what's necessary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And never forget that.
Yeah.
Yes. You're doing a good job, Mom.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Well, it's been so nice talking to you today, and thank you so much for being on with us and sharing part of
Yes.
your story.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. When my sister told me when we were at that concert, Nina, and she said, "Oh, Nina wants you to be on her podcast," and I was like, I didn't know she had one. She sent it to me. I literally listened to like the first season in like 2 days, and I was like, oh my God, this makes me feel like normal. Oh,
Yes.
And
like,
We love that. We love that.
yes,
that's the goal. So I hope it's helping. I really hope it is, and that makes me feel good to hear you say that because it's like, okay, what we set out to do is.
yes. I
We're
love I
trying to
love it.
normalize it. We're trying to normalize it that, being a mom is not all what's, like the picture perfect shots you see on Instagram. It's not always
Exactly.
that. That little moment, that little shot is a second, a millisecond, and nobody sees what goes on to get that photo. You got
Yeah.
screaming kids, unhappy kids, you know, nobody wants to wear those matching outfits, but that mom pulls that shit together for that millisecond of a shot to
Yep.
capture that moment, because I think that society has put such a weight on moms to be that. And so we're all out there struggling and driving ourselves, pulling ourselves this way and that way just to be this perfect, picture perfect
Yeah.
family or mom or whatever. And it's just a second, you know what I mean? It's just a little tiny second that is perfect, and then it's chaos, and so
Yep.
we want to normalize the chaos and the realness that comes with being a mom. And I mean, because it sucks sometimes, it does. Like, we
Oh
love
yeah.
our kids so much, and we want to do so much, and we're just one person. So that's why one day we just had this conversation, and we were just like, man, it's fucking hard, like, it's
It
hard
is.
to do all the things and to wear all the hats. And you know so, and then, like, it's in some cases, like, you have your boyfriend and your aunt and your sister, and Rachel has her husband and I have
Mm.
mine, but sometimes they just want you,
Yes.
and like Rachel, that was her this morning. Sometimes they just want you. It does not matter. The dad can be there, like, come on, let's do this, and it's like, nope, I want my mom. I just want to be
Yep.
literally
right.
what's happening in my house right now. My
Yeah.
you
child's
know
having a breakdown.
so you know what I mean? It is what it is. But we just thank you so much again for being on the
Yes.
show and sharing your world with us. And we hope to talk to you again soon. And
Yes.
yes, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day.
Rachel, you muted yourself, Rachel.
Oh, damn it. I did mute myself. I was saying it was so nice to talk to you, and thank you so much for being on with us.
Yes, thank you. Thank
We
you.
hope
Y'all
you have
have
a
a
great
great
rest of your
day.
day.
Yes, Sam. Bye.
Bye. Bye.